Hi, this is Mike. I'm an adventurer and a dad. And 4 years ago, we were right here in Tunnel Camp in Pershing County, Nevada, looking for this truck, and it was not here. So it's now early May of 2025, and Danielle and I have been out this weekend exploring and hiking in the mountains around the Humboldt Range. And as we were on our way home, I noticed a comment on the video where I originally reported that this was missing, saying that it was here. So since we were only about 25 miles away, we decided to come check it out. Now, I don't really even know what to say about this right now because I haven't thought about it in a couple of years. But back then I did shoot some additional video because I actually found this thing sitting on somebody's property in Reno. I called BLM law enforcement and reported it. They opened a case. They eventually impounded it from that person's property. And then I actually came into contact with, met, and interviewed the guy who took it in the first place. And now, after 4 years, we're all right back here. Let's get this part out of the way first. It's illegal to remove things from mining camps on BLM land. If you were at all curious and you wanted to check in advance, you could just go to the BLM website and click the Learn button and scroll down to the Cultural Materials section. It specifically says, historic sites, such as cabins, sawmills, graves, trail traces, mining areas, town sites, ranches, and railroads, are closed to collecting. This green truck has been at Tunnel Camp for a long time. The oldest video reference I found was from 2014. But almost every Tunnel Camp video you find will show it, because it's so cool. It's now gone, and all that was left when we visited was a patch of weeds. When we visited in October 2020, it was gone. And you can see that in the video we published in December of that year. It's missing in other videos from 2021 and 2022, but it shows back up in 2023. Forgotten Nevada has a photo from 2002. There's one on the Utah Expedition Forum from 2014. Great Basin Bikes went there in 2018. And the first time I went there was in 2019. By the time Tammy from Nevada Ghost Towns and Beyond was there in 2021, it was gone. You can see it in this post from RV Travel in 2022, but it's sitting in the old location. So that indicates that it's an older photo. So a couple weeks ago, I was out with Harry Wagner at Moon Rocks, and we were shooting a video for the new Friends of Moon Rocks organization, which is going to be sort of a citizen advocacy group to help preserve and protect the Moon Rocks off-road recreation site, which is managed by the Bureau of Land Management. So there were a couple of BLM law enforcement officers there, Officer Garrett Sarsanella. And so Garrett was like, you're not Mike Henderson, are you? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, we watch your videos. I know all your stuff and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, great. Well, I could have gone a different way. Anyway, so talked to Garrett for a little while. We talked about some of the advocacy and outreach that they're trying to do as an agency. And I talked about obviously some of the stuff that I'm trying to do as a YouTuber to, promote a good outdoor ethic. I asked for his card. Always ask for somebody's card, because we were talking about doing stuff in the future. And so I asked for his card, had his card, put it in my pocket, put it on my desk. So that was in the back of my mind. The day after Thanksgiving, 2 days after Thanksgiving, we went up for a family snowshoe hike to a place called Chickadee Ridge in the mountains behind me here, Mount Rose area. And on the way up, we're driving up the highway, Mount Rose Highway, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye. And because we had been out to Tunnel Camp recently, it was sort of turning around in there. And I was like, is that it? And I was like, oh, and I was like, my eyes got big, my mouth got wide. We were swerving across the lanes. People were freaking out. Kept going. We drove up to the top of the mountain. We went on our snowshoe hike. We came back down, and on the way back down, I pulled into the little driveway there. And I looked, I'm like, man, that looks like it. And I got out and I took some pictures, and I was like, man, that looks like it. So I go back and I get the card. I get Garrett's business card, and I type up an email. The things I seen, the pictures from Tunnel Camp, the picture from here, and that this is the truck, and it was removed from Tunnel Camp and put back here. So calls me back like the next day. They're really gung-ho about it. Obviously, removing artifacts from a known cultural site on government property is theft. You cannot do that. It's against the law. It's a federal crime, punishable by who the heck knows what. I'm just a regular person, I don't know. But it is wrong. You can't do it. You shouldn't do it. So they were gonna get an archaeologist from the Lovelock office involved and a special agent involved, and, you know, sort of come down and figure out who had taken this, when they had taken this, and get it back. That was their goal, is to get it back. He told me that they view that truck as culturally relevant and culturally as important as the old car, I think it's a Model T Ford, that's out in front of the barn at Berlin Ichthyosaur. Anyway, there were a total of 4 old trucks on the property. And so I took some pictures. Garrett and several others from the BLM called me, and I gave them a statement. I typed out a statement, sent it to them about its sort of relevance to me personally and my family and sort of the general community of people who love ghost towns. And they went out and started their investigation. All right. I am here at the site where they have that truck is right behind me, over my shoulder there, and I've been told that the BLM is going to be here any minute now to come take it back. We're going to take it down to Carson City and leave it there until the case has been concluded and everything's all wrapped up, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and then they're going to haul it back out to tunnel camp. This should be exciting. And it's plain, anybody can see it, it's just been sitting right there. But not for long. I don't know how they're gonna, what the plan is, but I assume they're gonna come with a trailer, pick it up, set it down, take it away. It's gonna be back, it'll be back in tunnel camp, hopefully by spring. Hopefully. BLM law enforcement truck just showed up. Wonder if that's the homeowner there. Looks like a forklift and a trailer and a flatbed truck.
My daughter says you have no permission to take any more pictures here.
I'm not on her property.
Well, you're taking pictures of her property.
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to...
Oh, I don't. She does. She can't stop me from taking pictures of her property.
I can call the sheriff's department.
You could just ask the law enforcement officer right there.
I don't care. I can call the sheriff's department.
Oh, call the sheriff. He'll be fine with it too. Yeah, so she just told me that I can't be here because her daughter doesn't want me taking pictures of her property, and that it's just scrap metal, not a truck. I am on the easement here on the side of the road. I'm not on her property. Now I imagine that BLM is now telling her that I can be here because I'm not on her property. And there's the other trucks that she has, which were determined were legally purchased and are not stolen, thankfully. This is the one I'm interested in. This is the one that was at Tunnel Camp, Nevada, a ghost town on BLM property. So now I've moved up the road to where I am fairly clearly on Forest Service property. There you go. USFS property, according to Gaia GPS. In fact, I can see a Forest Service sign right up here. So this sign says Forest Service property behind that sign. They've got the forklift out. Looks like they're going to go pick it up. Incidentally, these are the other vehicles that she's got on her property. Some pretty cool trucks. These are not stolen. These are perfectly legal vehicles as far as I know. Very pretty. Anybody would love to have those on their property if they had the space, I would think. It was about that time that I got a phone call from an unidentified woman who turned out to be the homeowner herself. You're telling me that you think that the truck is, in fact, garbage that was illegally dumped on public land. That's your position? So the homeowner's position at the start of our conversation was that the truck was just a rusted out, rotting cab full of bullet holes with a mismatched set of fenders in front of it. And to be fair, that's an accurate description. But then what is a ghost town? Is it also your position that all of the other items at Tunnel Camp are garbage that has been illegally dumped on public property? So she pointed out that there's a huge problem with trash and dumping on public land, and volunteers haul off tons of that every year with the blessing of BLM and many other stakeholders, which is also true. There's a difference between a historic site and trash. Tunnel Camp is absolutely a historic site. It's labeled as such on the map, and it's logged as such by the Bureau of Land Management. But the fact is that when you're at a historic site like Tunnel Camp, or any other ghost town for that matter, everything that's contained within that historic site is a protected artifact. And it is not lawful, not legal, not proper, and not even very nice to take things from it. Once again, historic sites, such as cabins, sawmills, graves, trail traces, mining areas, town sites, ranches, and railroads, are closed to collecting. It's not up to me to decide what pieces of things at a historic site are trash or not. I mean, obviously, if you go to a historic site and you find a wrapper for some Pokemon cards, that's not historic. If you find a 2010 F-150 rolled over on its side, that's not part of the historic site. At this point, she questions how long the truck had even been there. Oh yeah, that truck has been there for quite a while. If you go back into the pictures in the archives, it's been there for at least 20, 30 years. You can see other trucks. If you search for images of Tunnel Camp, you'll find lots of other trucks that have been removed that, my kids would love to be playing on. And she still uses the fact that the truck is trash to defend herself from any wrongdoing, specifically stating that since it's not a Native American site or over 100 years old, that it's not protected. Laws do cover historic sites and town sites and ghost towns like Tunnel Camp. It doesn't have to be covered under the Antiquities Act. What you're quoting is the Antiquities Act. So she says she wishes there was more done to protect the land and the resources, which means different things to different people. But in this case, results in places like Tunnel Camp being degraded over time. That's up to them, but it's not frontier land over there. It's not Bodie. It's a completely unregulated site. There's no admission. There are no signs. There's no gates. Not to mention the fact that everybody faults the BLM for fulfilling their mandate, all while hamstrung by conflicting regulations and chronic underfunding. No, it's a problem, but that's not an excuse for taking it into your own hands. And you would be okay with people coming up to your property and taking pictures with it on your front lawn?
My daughter says you have no permission to take any more pictures here. Because that's what it is when it's at Tunnel Camp. It's something for everybody. It's a public resource. You're only preserving it for yourself, and you're completely destroying it for everybody else. It's gone for everybody else, right? My perspective is I like it where it is, and I like it rusting, and I like it falling apart, and someday it will disintegrate into the desert, and that's what it should be. So that's where we left it. She definitely felt threatened by my presence there with a camera, and felt accused, and was defensive as a result. However, she was definitely inconsistent with her interest in preserving old artifacts, and her assertion that the truck was just garbage in the first place.
I would never have classified it as garbage. My name is Alex Bradshaw. I am from Reno, Nevada. I own Finders Classics and More, so I travel US-wide finding classic cars for people, just going further than most people, knocking on doors, making connections, and loving hot rods. I've always had a passion for the way it was. They're all pieces that will tell a story, and I figured why not turn it into a business and travel the world and do what I love.
Now, Alex claims that he acquired the truck from Tunnel Camp as a friend. And the homeowner said the same thing, even though Alex has a business where he finds and acquires old cars and trucks for paying clients.
Huge fan of ghost towns, historic sites. One of my favorite places here locally would be Virginia City. I love the old town. I love all the little knick-knack shops, antiques. Just a feel of where it all started is something I'm extremely passionate about. And ghost towns, we're big into the trying to catch the catch pictures and, you know, feelings and hear noises. It's fun chasing the ghost and trying to make it more than what it is, honestly. Nevada, places being free and unregulated, what that means to me is that's an opportunity for adventure. Take your family, go explore, find new places, find new things. You're not paying big camp fees. You're not having to deal with a host. You kind of go out, set your own thing up, and take care of the environment while you're there. But it is scary to think that, you know, eventually they won't be there. The next storm could come through, the next fire could come through, and they disappear, where I wish that there was something more set aside to where they would be protected more so. You know, they're not even on main maps and things like that, which is kind of hard, and it's how do we hold on to the history if we don't protect it? First time I went to Tunnel Camp, Nevada, it was mine and my wife's anniversary. Bought a bunch of maps, we looked up things that were there before, and we went to go see what was left behind. And we ran across Tunnel Camp and a few other camps on that trail, but we stayed in Tunnel Camp for a night or two. We explored and we thought it was, I mean, it's beautiful. It's a very, I'm surprised that much of it is still there. I thought it was hilarious going into some of the little houses and there's clothing hanging off the wall. And on that trip, we went to about 3 other towns, and majority of them, the houses were crumbled into the ground. There is a lot of vandalism there and things like that, which I wish it wasn't that way. You can see where people have broken bricks, busted out windows, kicked down doors. It happens over time, but I wish that people would take more pride into something like that. I mean, we liked it so much. That was the one place that I took my kids back. They're running around the whole town. They're picking up little knickknacks, setting them on the shelves, old cans and things, and playing house, and they loved it. Freedom, definite freedom. You know, you don't have 50 other campers around you. You don't have to be quiet. You can tell ghost stories over the fire all night long if you wanted to. I was definitely attached from the town the moment I went there. When I was at Tunnel Camp, one thing I seen was definitely there was the cab and the front clip down in the ditch below.
I don't want to pick this apart too much, but he mentions the truck being in the ditch a few times here. And I don't know if he's just misremembering it or what, but the truck was never in a ditch. Originally, it was over here, near the access road below the structures, in a sloping area of sagebrush. It was put back by the BLM over here. And the drainage creek, or the ditch, is way over here.
And you could see, judging by the area, I mean, you can go over there are bullet casings everywhere. They're blowing it to pieces with guns. They were destroying it over time. I thought it was really cool myself. I actually took a picture of it because it was a good looking piece. But at the same time, I did look at it and I'm like, you know, it's a shame. That is something, I mean, this is my thing, in no time it would be nothing. I met a lady in South Reno, a good friend of mine, and I was delivering an old hot rod truck to her that she was using as yard art. She had more passion in it than probably even I do. So me and her got talking about other pieces and things like that I've seen along my travels, and I started showing her pictures. My thing is, I love when I see old cars or trucks when the tree is coming out of the hood and the crumbs peeling off. It's proof that there are pieces out there that have been untouched. That was her whole goal. Her yard, she wanted it to be a rustic outdoor museum. And when I showed her the pictures of that cabin front clip and how they were laid out, I had to break her the bad news and definitely tell her, like, it's being shot at, destroyed, and it probably won't last there forever. She goes, you know, I'd like to save that piece. She said that she wanted to make it a focal point on the front of her property where everyone could see it, but nobody could destroy it. I mean, I feel bad that it got moved from Tunnel Camp, but I did not feel bad about where it went. It went somewhere where it could be viewed by everyone. It went somewhere where it wouldn't be shot at, it wouldn't be destroyed any further, and the memories would live on. I do understand that lots of people could agree and lots of people could disagree on that, definitely. I mean, you could see the old pickup in the background. I saved that vehicle, in my opinion, by keeping it going, by maintaining it. But in something like that where it's sitting in a ditch and it's getting shot at, destroyed, vandalized, I mean, it hurts to see people do that to stuff. The other thing I was considering was moving the piece up towards the town, just getting it out of the ditch. You know, I made that comment to her, and but she was like, no, we can move it here and save it. And I'm like, you know, if you're putting it right there where the world could see it, I didn't feel any harm in it.
So at that point, they concluded that Alex would go out and get the truck and bring it back to her property in Reno. So Alex took a trip out to tunnel camp with his family and a car trailer.
We went out the first night and we camped and had marshmallows and stayed up above the town and going through the town at night with flashlights and telling ghost stories. And the next morning we started packing up camp and everything, and then we went over and we actually went shooting right down there. In the midst of going shooting and everything, I had to turn even my own kids away because they wanted to shoot it. And I'm like, no, that's not acceptable. In the moment of them wanting to shoot at it and stuff, it was kind of like it shows that not everyone has that intention to save something. Not everyone has the intention to want to leave it and let it be destroyed over time. I mean, everyone has a different opinion on that. Yeah, I loaded it up onto my car trailer and strapped them down safely, and basically drove home from there. I mean, didn't take any special routes or anything other than the most direct route, and got gas at a gas station. And there was one guy at the gas station that noticed it, and he asked what I was doing. I told him I'm going to save it. And he goes, what do you mean save it? He's like, you're going to build that thing? And I was like, it's too far. I don't have those kind of skills to build something like that. But it will be put up somewhere where everyone can see it in the middle of Reno, up off of Mount Rose Highway. And it'll become a focal point of a yard. He's like, that's better than letting that thing get destroyed. So I kept getting really good vibes about what I was doing throughout the whole thing, until the day that the guys showed up at my house asking questions about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, did I do something wrong? Because we even read the HOA, well, they actually have a pamphlet. And in their pamphlet, the rules of picking things up and all that kind of stuff, they all vary. But it says anything cultural, so man-made, you're not allowed to pick it up if it's over 100 years old. And me being a car guy, I knew that those were nowhere near 100 years old. So I assumed, you know, it'd be fine. It's totally fine to pick it up. It is public lands, and it belongs to the public, but you're allowed to collect certain things and you can't collect other things. And we read into it, and we were pretty sure that we were safe doing it. And I explained that to even the officers and stuff that were working on the case, and they were actually pretty cool about it. I mean, they understood my idea. My idea was there is no making money off of it. Like I said, I love towns the way it was. I know that a town like that obviously isn't 100% the way it was, but there's a footprint, just like with archaeology when they studied how dinosaurs carried their weight and things like that. Their footprint told it all. And tunnel camp is a footprint. The pieces that are there, I hope they stay there. If there are pieces out there that people have taken and they were part of those buildings or anything, if they could be returned, or if you could have passion enough to bring it back, that would be amazing. Taking it away from people viewing it, that was completely not my intention. And I really want people to understand that. Like I said, it was the focal point of her property on a main road in the front of her property. I mean, even you yourself admit, you'd noticed it. You drove by and you're like, there it is. But to me, there it is, and there it will be, and it will always be taken care of. If we could have a plaque in front of that town that says, don't touch this, hey, this is tunnel camp, I would love to see that town better taken care of.
While having cool yard art on your property may improve curb appeal and raise property values for the neighborhood, it's not something that I can bring my kids to come play with. And while a homeowner can have every intention of preserving it in perpetuity, people move. And she did. And she took all her other yard art with her and didn't leave a forwarding address.
Here I am back at tunnel camp, sitting in the truck. I have to admit, when I was driving up here this morning, I half expected it to be gone again. It's kind of sad that
is the sort of default expectation now. Anyway, it's still here. All the buildings are still here. There's artifact and trash all intermixed and intermingled here. There's actually a piece of this truck sitting over there, a piece of trim or something. Anyway, I could probably talk for a week about my thoughts on the value of public land and public access to public land, and my ideas on the difference between trash and treasure with respect to places like this that you find all over Nevada, all over the West. And I could talk forever about the joy of exploring. And if you've watched any of my videos here on the channel, then you probably know all about that. Should be fairly evident. What I would like to know is, what are your thoughts on the matter? Do you value public land? Is a major part of your recreation life exploring on public land, hunting on public land, riding motorcycles on public land, driving four-wheel drive vehicles on public land, camping on public land in dispersed campsites? I think that if you live in the West and you like to spend time outdoors and you really look at the things that you like to do, public land, like land that's managed by the Bureau of Land Management, the Forest Service, the National Park Service, is probably a pretty big part of your life. Anyway, that's all I have to say on the matter. Hopefully this truck stays here for a good long while. Hopefully you get the chance to come out and see it. And if you do, let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching, and happy trails.